All right, how's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? It's midterm day, and of course, I have to go back into work early. And, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep, ever since I started this new job. That's one of the reasons why I've kind of been on and off the internet for the past week or whatnot. However, with that being said, to me, working here has kind of made it crystal clear of really how this country kind of needs to go into a different direction. you know it's everybody's all into their feelings now. It's all a sense of entitlement, for the most part. How's it going, Scott? And it's very this country is not very efficient like it used to be at all. There is very very little convenience ever since the fucking commie cop took over. And ultimately, this country needs to do a 180 from this Bidenomics and the socialists that have implemented themselves in the mainstream media. What's up, Cabal? Yeah, I just got a call. I got to go back into work early tonight. I've been pulling like doubles and 8-hour turnarounds and whatnot, and I've only probably gotten about like 16 hours of sleep over the span of the past week. Because I'm a team player. Trying to contribute and whatnot. And, this is this country. It's a sense of entitlement of a lot of this generation. And with this being said, you're not going to be able to sustain a functioning country you know, doing all this shit. At some point in time, you have to show up. You have to put in a little bit of effort, even the smallest bit. But I mean, it's not only this job that I'm working at right now that has all these issues. This is everywhere. Like, you can go to a Taco Bell, and generally you used to go to a Taco Bell. Yeah, it's hit or miss now if they have any product there to make the damn tacos anymore, or if they can even take your order. Same thing with McDonald's. And some of these businesses just close down early for no apparent reason. And the funny thing is that a lot of these people believe that we need to raise minimum wage. This will make things better. It hasn't so far. The wages have increased. That's not even up for debate. The wages ultimately have increased for these places, and it certainly hasn't made you any better workers that complain about this stuff. All it has done is made this country less efficient. So it's going to be interesting. I'm surprised Taco Bell hasn't been canceled. Well, I mean, it's other places too. If I'm going, like, I don't want to go to Taco Bell. If I'm at Taco Bell, it's just because it's convenient. It's on the way. I didn't have time to cook, because I'm, constantly going back to work or something like that. I'm in transit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to cover down on somebody else. But like I said, even at the last place that I worked, it was hit or miss if we would have a full crew. Like a number of people, half the crew wouldn't even show up. The place before that, same thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, from your perspective, right? Oh, well, it's a workers' market, and we can do whatever we want, and we need to fight for fair. But I meant, as far as like the way that these entitled freaking they're sitting there on their phones that technically you shouldn't have, because you claim that you're being unfairly treated. You're wearing fashionable clothes. I mean, you can tell that a lot of you people are not missing meals. You're not starving. So where is your suffering coming from? Where is all this regret from working at one of these facilities, coming from? At the end of the day, uh, yeah, and yeah, you're right, Cabal. Like, I love it, but just a joke on cancel culture, honestly. Um, like I said, I used to like Taco Bell, but whenever you eat fast food so much, you get tired of it. You get burnt out. Like, you want to stay home and make something to eat, but ultimately, like I said, it's not a healthy lifestyle. And ultimately, like I said, it's a me generation. Even in the workforce, it's a me generation. And this is the bitterness that is the leftist that is in charge. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me retract you from your video topic. Will Greg Abbott win? Probably. Probably here in Texas, anyways. I mean, the Democrats have just absolutely thrown absolutely fucking mobs. And like I said, there's no real effort on either side. And there doesn't have to be any effort for the Republicans right now because the Democrats are absolutely abhorrent. They're too entitled, and nobody is going to reasonably vote for a Democrat. I'm not even voting, and I damn sure don't want to hear any of these people sit there and say, "If you get your vote, it's your fault," because the candidates running on the Republican side haven't really wowed me with any of their expertise in talking about how they're going to deal with issues. They haven't presented any ideas. It's all wedge issues. You know what I'm saying? It's about the border bullshit. That's what they want to talk about. They want to talk about the border. And, that doesn't concern me at all. Yeah, I could care less about the border. I care less about, trying to get back and forth to work because of the gas prices. I care more about, the freaking, state of inflation. Nobody cares about your border shit at all. That's a fucking joke, Republicans. It's another one of your wedge issues that absolutely have no rhyme, reason, or effect on anybody. So you can go out there, you can put up these bold freaking infomercials about how these people are just crossing border in 100-degree weather and freaking hoodies and stuff, and yeah, it makes totally no fucking sense, but it is what it is. You can do the whole what is it? And it's all a work basically. We've done the same shit, so we get it. My favorite restaurant is Applebee's and Flanagan's, best ribs ever. Um, and so we got Cabal in the house. We have Scott in the house. We have Travis in the house. Nazi Pelosi and her quantitative easing is what caused a ton. Yeah, and this is like 61% of the inflation is definitely the fault of the Democrats. We need to go ahead and take the crayons out of the Democrats' hands. And that's it. Ultimately, you could sit there and say that it's a double standard. It isn't a double standard. It's just being coherent. It's being rational. It's being reasonable. There is no double standard. You can go ahead and talk about, oh well, Republicans claim for their rights, and they're taking up. First off, it wasn't the Republicans that took away abortion. That's Joe Biden's administration that abortion was lost anyways. And even by your own fucking admission that, oh, they could have codified Roe v. Wade anytime they wanted to. They didn't want to codify Roe v. Wade. They don't give a shit about Roe v. Wade. And it was the up to the Supreme Court to go ahead and overturn that. What you give the Supreme Court more than enough leeway by going ahead and mandating the vaccine. That's it. So yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care no more about your Roe v. Wade. I don't care about your right to privacy. Go ahead and take away Roe v. Wade and start letting states legislate the abortion. And then what's going to happen? The Democrats are going to be forced to go back and fight for medical privacy again. However, like I said, I'm going to want some reimbursement for my constitutional rights being infringed on by a private company. Are y'all going to do that? Probably not. See, they've wrote themselves into a corner. So I mean, ultimately, the mainstream media becomes less relevant because nobody can turn to mainstream media for accurate, reliable news and information. They have to turn to other sources, whether it's on Rumble, whether it's here on YouTube, whether it's on BitChute. Elon Musk is a genius. I love how he triggered the leftists. And it still remains to be seen what Elon's going to do with Twitter. So far, I haven't been impressed. It seems like the same old bullshit. It's just them throwing on these little. But I mean, like I said, there's no real traffic on Twitter, anyways. I can go back and look up the trending page on Twitter, and I guarantee it's only going to be like 400 or 500K is number one. That's going to be the most trends for anything on Twitter because there's no real interest on it. There's no real organic traffic on Twitter. And the same thing is becoming on Facebook. So, even their social media platforms, they've killed off that, which is interesting. I get why smart countries hate us. What's up, Yvonne down south? Yeah, it's like I said, we've got to we've got to completely turn back around. We've got to completely turn everything, go do a 180, and then start implementing common sense, re, reform in this country. The real way to go ahead and fight inflation isn't by increasing taxes. That's dumb. That's the opposite of what you should be doing. We should be cutting taxes, maybe even eliminating the income tax altogether, particularly for those in the middle class, anyways. I mean, if you're not going to tax the billionaires, because that's what they use, that's the argument that they make to justify the income tax, even though the billionaires don't pay income tax. If you're not going to tax them, then just take away all of these arbitrary taxes. To be honest with you, all you need really at the end of the day is a sales tax. That's all you really need to do to go ahead and you know fund day-to-day operations that the government has no business in healthcare. Period. I don't care what you think about Medicare. I don't think what you care about Medicaid and all this other stuff. It has no business being in the healthcare industry. You know what I'm saying? Open up that market. Go ahead and do the tort reforms. You know, price transparency. Go ahead and retract all this ridiculous legislation that increases the price, and then go ahead and bring down the cost. Once you go ahead and bring down the cost, and you get the cost down to where I can pay for insurance out of pocket, I should be able to pay for healthcare insurance out of pocket. It shouldn't be $200 a check. That's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. And that's if I even use it. You almost have to use it just to justify having it at this point. If it cost about like maybe $50 per check or something like that, then that's okay, $100 a month. I can go ahead and live with $1,200 a year. That makes sense. But to sit there and say, oh, no, you have to pay like $200, that's absolutely ridiculous. And there's nothing that operates right. There's no responsible people in charge. It's all these people who are just, you know, basically profiting off of kickbacks. They make these deals, they start these markets, and ultimately they prosper off these kickbacks. For the most part, our politicians are doing nothing but collecting a war chest. They're just having you donate money to them, and you'll donate money to them at your own expense. I didn't even vote. I didn't vote at all today. I was just like, yeah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Ultimately, we all can kind of see right now the Republicans should win. They should win the House. They should win the Senate. And, it'll be interesting to see what kind of, charade they pull next. They really need to go ahead and they're already starting to sit there and lay down the groundwork for stupid crap. Pennsylvania's like, oh, it may take us up to a week to count the vote. Because why are y'all that pathetic? I mean, you got enough people in Pennsylvania to do an account. You know what I'm saying? Are y'all that fucking lazy? And seriously, I mean, there's the shit that you pull out of your butthole to go ahead and claim, to go ahead and sit there and tap dance around stuff just is absolutely ridiculous. And we still don't even know what the Inflation Reduction Act is going to end up doing. But they're having issues right now in Arizona. They're trying to shut down and do bomb scares and stuff like that. The shit that they claimed that the Republicans were going to do by standing by these precincts and not let Democrats vote for whatever fucking reason. The ridiculous people on the media decide that they're going to make a video. They're going to stir up all this bullshit. So their marginalized base will sit there and buy into stupid stuff. They're the ones that are out there doing this stuff and trying to go ahead and dissuade people from going ahead and going out and voting against them en masse, which they already know is going to happen. Because all you have to do is if you're a rational person, if you can sit there and think and not rely on these elitist people to go ahead and make decisions for you, if you can go ahead and take yourself out of that and say, no, I'm a big boy, I can go ahead and make my, all you got to do is look up the gas signs and see that gas is like what, $4 a gallon in some areas, and say, yeah, you know what, yeah, I don't think that voting for the fucking buffoon that's in the White House is in my best interest. Oh man, I knew that was Mrs. Battle, but waste sure. How are you? Yeah, I'm okay. Messing around on here. I remember you and Polston wrestling Jesus, etc. I just saw WJ here. He just uploaded another picture. Maybe he'll make a comeback. But that's the issue with YouTube as well. I mean, you look at a lot of these content creators on YouTube, and they've kind of like ripped off certain personalities. A lot of them are it's like some of the, but to be honest with you, a lot of the wrestlers I don't even know. But this is just the internet as a whole. They've kind of pushed off, a lot of people, and then they sit there and put their freaking ridiculously anti-charismatic freaking sociopaths that worked in the State Department that's kind of taken over a bunch of shills and cucks that are on the internet right now, and they'll make these ridiculous responses and thinking they're actually influencing people, but it's absolutely having the opposite effect. And like I said, right now you look at this generation, people don't want to work. They don't want to put in any effort into anything. Do you think that at the end of the day, you take a look at the people who would most likely vote Democrat and the people who would most likely vote Republican? Which side would you want to be on as an independent? Which if it came down to that, if which is not going to happen, but if it did, which side would you want to be on? In a battle situation, in a wartime scenario, the Republicans, because they're going to cover down for each other. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be in somebody who's going to show up. The Democrats can't even show up to flip a hamburger. They can't show, like I said, their lives are not as horrible as they pretend they are. They come on the internet and they claim this and they claim that, but their lives aren't horrible. Their wages have gone up. Yeah, he uses do a lot of stuff online, but his health isn't good at all. Yeah, and like that's everybody. Like I would, and see there yet again. You take a look at that healthcare system up in Canada. It's one of the issues with government-controlled healthcare systems. It's not a healthcare system. It's a sick care system. They just, basically do stuff to go ahead and, you know, keep you going back in. And like I said, you take a look with the whole VAXX thing, and there's no doubt that I really don't trust people that are pro euthanasia being in charge of our healthcare system. There is a hell of a lot better options out there than what is being proposed in this country for Medicare, Medicaid for all. There are better options, and you could probably get universal health care subsidized even. But at first, you'd have to lower the cost of healthcare. They want to go ahead and take control of the healthcare industry, and that's it. It's not about universal healthcare. It's about government-controlled healthcare, and it's always been about government-controlled healthcare. There's no reason that the health care is this high in this country. The reason the health care is so high in this country is because of government legislation. Because ultimately, the government goes ahead, they make the problem, and then they offer the solution that they come up with. So you go with their solution. They don't offer you any other kind of solution. You have to accept their solution. It's a form of tyranny. So this is another reason why I think that we actually probably should be considering going to an anti-federalist government, decentralizing power, sending power back to the states, so we can have more power voting for these issues. And they can't just put in a proxy to go ahead and pass some sort of Trans-Pacific Partnership or any kind of right-grabbing legislation. But yeah, this is where we're at right now. Oh, yeah, he has a Herschel. They are talking about doing weight loss surgery plus fixing the hernia. Thinks he needs. But yeah, well, I hope he gets better, too, as well. Yeah, I know how that is. Like I said, there's so many people right now that don't trust the healthcare system, and there's sometimes they'll sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going into surgery. If something happens to me, just understand. I want you to know that I'm going in, and I'm totally healthy right now. I'm totally fine." And then they'll go into surgery and end up coming out worse than they were. And that's been like an ongoing theme right now in the healthcare industry as a whole. people go in to have something and then they come out worse than what they were. So I don't really like going to doctors too much right now because the healthcare industry hasn't been the same for I'd say about like 5 or 6 years. It's kind of just proceedingly getting worse. So I meant, we need to go a definitive direction, and one of these parties need to be abolished. And I think everybody can come to the conclusion that the party that needs to be abolished is the Democrat Party, and we need an alternative to the Republican Party. But one of these parties need to be abolished. I mean, and an example has to be set and made that the a totalitarian, global takeover will not be tolerated in this country. Not from a secular source, anyways. I'm sure that there will be eventually. The systems are already there, but certainly the left, the Democrats certainly need to. That whole party needs to be abolished, and maybe a Tulsi Gabbard party, a more coherent left-leaning party would be okay, but the current Democrat Party and the establishment party as a whole, one of them needs to go. And like I said, it's got to be the Democrat Party at this point in time. You say what you will about the Republicans, but the Democrat Party are the ones that, well, we can see right now by DC, they pretty much are in control. So they need to be, it needs to be pretty much abolished as a party. And yeah, hopefully this will be the first step to that, but I don't know. Like I said, I suspect that what's going to end up happening is that, the Republicans should hopefully take over, and then maybe you'll get some sort of, theater out there where the Republicans are going to impeach Joe Biden. I think a majority of the country would be for impeaching Joe Biden. I think that a majority of the country, and we'll see. Like I said, whenever I look at the algorithms on the internet, and you can't say anything about the most secure election in history in 2020, because of course, if you want to see double standards, they work in terms and services at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Those are the only double standards I see. However, with that being said, I don't even think that Biden can get 81 million likes, much less 81 million votes. So really, if the Republicans go ahead, get into office, it should be pretty easy. I don't think that I think that a majority of the country would be a-okay with overturning this administration, replacing them with more suitable people that could ultimately go ahead, introduce a coherent plan, an economical plan that could probably I don't know, compromise with inflation right now. And it would, maybe stave off any kind of real-time collapse. But, if the left is allowed to put their proxies in for another 4 years, then we're probably not going to have an election in 2024. You're probably not going to even have to worry about it because this party is so entitled. It's so dumb. And, ultimately, like I said, all it would take is for us to get together, start talking, figure out a point of attack, and then to just go ahead and replace the party as it is right now. May even be able to do it through a legal, legislation and stuff. But it's absolutely insane. But like I said, anyways, I'm gonna have to go back into work today. They've called me up early, so I'm gonna have to go in another 4 hours. I'll be making a hell of a check, I guess, my next check, because I've already done like 2 hours. I've done 8-hour turnarounds, and now I'm going back in for probably a 12-hour, 10-hour shift or something. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and leave y'all with this right here. I just wanted something up on the midterms. I'm sure you're gonna be seeing a lot of stuff. Steven Crowder is doing his thing on Rumble. I do think that watching a lot of these shows, whether it be Salty Cracker midterms, watching Steven Crowder, going on Rumble and watching this, I know I'm on YouTube and I'm advocating, but I think that will open up a lot of more eyes. It would scare a lot more people if you go jump on their streams on Rumble. Maybe Dan Bongino will have a midterm video on Rumble as well. And Rumble, they're a lot. You can be a little bit more edgier. You can go and question a lot more. You're going to hear people talk about the 2020 election and the anomalies in that election that YouTube just won't let you talk about, or the commie cough, or they're going to be talking about other stuff. But YouTube won't let you allow these people to say it on here. But you can go visit Crowder on Rumble. You can go visit a Salty Cracker on Rumble. I'm sure Styx's video will be on Rumble as well. You can go visit these guys on Rumble. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out because, like I said, I'm going to have to go to work and get up and start to get ready to go to work in about an hour or so. So, you people tell me what you think. You like, sub, do the shit YouTube tells me to do to get over. And for now, I'm out.